This is Spam Jam Podcast by First Line Software.
Welcome to Spam Jam powered by First Line Software. I'm your host Vladimir, and today we're going to talk about AI assistant coding with GitHub Copilot. Together with me today, Andrew, our senior full stack engineer, who is using actively AI assistant tools in coding. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Vladimir. Thanks you for having me today here. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for coming. Are you sure you're excited already?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So let's start with the main question I have. I'm talking a lot with software engineers and with senior software engineers. And usually, they're mostly not using anything. Yeah, they're writing code by themselves, even not using IDE. Yeah, writing everything in Notepad. Yeah, because they want to control everything. Yeah, they're smart, they know how to do it, and so on and so forth. So now, you and many senior software engineers start using AI assistant tools. Why do you need it?
I think the main goal here is to provide additional time for me to do more complex tasks and goals, because I can leverage and lead with not interesting, not very difficult task to GitHub Copilot, and he will do it for me. For example, he will write documentation for my code or write unit tests, which, to be honest, it's not so interesting to write. And also, it's providing additional auto completion for my code. So I'm starting to type in some code, some functions, for example, name of function, and it provides me any suggestions, any solutions of how can I complete, how can I finish this code. And it's won't come up on my mind right now. So great thing to do more complex things.
Okay, so it's like having kind of like in pair programming, having some software developer nearby you.
Yeah, I think so. I can agree with you. It's like having some sort of junior developer who is helping you, but you need to explain what you need. You need to explain tasks in complex with all variables, all context, and so on. And after that, Copilot will provide answers on my questions.
Never heard that senior software engineers like to have juniors engineers sitting nearby him, It's so sad. But let's imagine. You're writing some description. Yeah, you're sharing something. Are you sure it won't, hallucinate? Are you sure that code it provides to you is proper?
Unfortunately, no. You are not able to be sure that all code, all answers provided by Copilot are absolutely 100% qualified and validated and good, to be honest. So you need to check all answers from Copilot, because as far as I know, GitHub Copilot was trained by all open repositories from GitHub, and of course. Also, there can be some sort of pet projects from developers which are not using best practices or some design patterns or something like that. And this indicates that quality of code, quality of solutions are not so good. So, yeah, basically the idea that glitches could happen, and you need to double check what you see in the answers from Copilot.
So it potentially was trained on some kind of bad patterns of software engineering,
yeah,
right?
for sure, because I'm pretty sure that I'm not using all best practices too. And we, as I know, not we, developers of GitHub Copilot, they cannot, filter or sort which data could be used for training or which not. So we are using all repositories and all code base existing in GitHub. That's the way some developers are studying. For example, they are not know which learning paths are absolutely good. They are studying from different resources, and after some time trying to understand which is good resource, which is not, and have their own point of view.
Sounds like your daily life starts to be more complicated. You need to think how to explain to this not very smart software engineer sitting nearby you, artificial software engineer sitting nearby you, some task. then it produces some code which potentially might be fully crap. Then you need to maybe send another task or rewrite this code. And I mean, is it really so efficient for you as a software engineer to use it? Don't you spend more time on all these explanations and all these things?
I can be honest that I don't let GitHub Copilot to do complex tasks like write a whole page for website. More like about some very easy tasks like provide additional documentation for this piece of code or write unit tests for existing functionality. Or, for example, I don't know, explain me how this function is worked because it was not written by me, it was written by my colleague, and I don't understand by some reasons.
Okay, so with Copilot, we can expect like not 100% unit test coverage, but very close to that, right? Because usually engineers don't like this unit test writing.
Unit tests, it's like a fear for developers because you need to check any condition exists in your code, and it's like repeat boilerplate code which is repeated. And it's maybe I think after some training, after some spending time on this, it will be more faster and more useful and helpful just to write a prompt to Copilot and read the created unit tests, copy paste them into my code base and use.
Okay, cool. You told about prompt engineering, kind of. Yeah. Is it something software engineer now needs to be familiar with to be able to work with Copilot? I mean, does it require some special skills or it's like more like a natural language?
Mostly not, because Copilot has interesting feature. It trying to integrate into context of your project you're working with. So you don't need to provide like when you're working with, for example, ChatGPT or something like that. You don't need to provide a context like it is happening in this situation in this time. Text should be formal or informal, something like that. It in the sense that I'm working with this programming language, this framework. I have this type of design patterns, some solutions, and mostly I just need to explain what I need without additional context and read and answer.
Okay. Are you the only one in your team using Copilot, or it's like a rule for the entire team?
I can say that for now, me and two my colleagues, three of us are using GitHub Copilot as an AI tool for this project. But we are just starting on this one. So maybe I'm one who are using it more time than others.
Okay. And how your, maybe if you can explain like how your daily work now looks like. I mean, you're not writing any code anymore, or I mean, so what is your like you're coming to an office, you start doing something, some task, how it looks like?
I wish it would be true that sometime I will be not writing the code just with my mind. I will be thinking and it will be appearing in my IDE. But unfortunately, no. Mostly when I'm working on some task, I'm doing things as I was doing it before. So, for example, I'm examining the documentation, the requirements, trying to apply them to our existing code base. And mostly, I will say that I will use Copilot on final steps. So logic is already done, and we have UI, we have some database, some backend code, and after that, as I already mentioned, I need to provide some unit tests to what I've done. I need to provide documentation for other colleagues, so we will be able to understand what I have written. And also, maybe I am at the end of the day, I'm not very good in some best practices in my programming language, and Copilot could provide some additional advices on how to improve quality of my code.
Can you say that at the moment your efficiency is higher than it used to be without Copilot?
I believe so. Yes, I couldn't say that it's increased doubled or triple time or on one or for example 75%, maybe on 20 or 30%. Yeah, my efficiency and productivity increased.
Okay, that's interesting. Uh, Talking about, let's say, people who are not using yet Copilot, what you can say? I mean, can you recommend it? Can you recommend to start with some specific tasks? So what would be your recommendation for those who is thinking about it? Because I mean, everybody is talking about Gen AI in general and AI assisting tools for software engineers. So what would be your recommendation for these people?
My first recommendation will be to be prepared, but it's not free, unfortunately. So you need to be prepared, but you will pay for subscription to use it in your pet project or in your enterprise project. And also, I need to say that I will give an advice not to start with complex tasks. It's not like explain me how the core of my project is working, or try to explain me the history of JavaScript language. It's not the tasks you can use Copilot for. You can use Copilot for to start with something more easy like code refactoring. So you have some function, some method, some class. You have very strong feeling to rewrite it, and you are some part of this work will be done by you, and other part will be done by Copilot.
Okay. Would you recommend? That's because you're a senior engineer. I mean, you know everything, almost everything.
Of course,
Of course, of course. But I mean, let's imagine some junior software engineer who just finished university and start working. Yeah, has some knowledge about the language, syntax, and so on and so forth, but almost no practice in general. Yeah, would you recommend to juniors to start using Copilot from this beginning, or it's better, let's say, I mean, using a classic way, let's call it like that, without any support, because otherwise, for me, it sounds like, I mean, I don't need to know anymore, like on a good level language. I mean, yeah, I can know something, but it will be enough. Yeah, Copilot will do for me everything.
I can say two things about it. First one is that if we're talking about some developer who is just junior and just starting his her career, you need to not only practice your hard skills but also your soft skills. And if you will be talking only with Copilot, you will not be practicing your soft skills, unfortunately. This first one, and also I need to say that I can suggest like 50-50 plan. You continue to asking questions to your colleagues because it's part of a normal workflow on a project, asking some advices, some best practices which may be not mentioned in some book or on website, but using only in your project, and also start to using Copilot on some features where you already have some knowledge, because some things you may not know well right now, if they will come to you in the future. And right now, you, for example, understand how to iterate through arrays, and you can ask Copilot for suggesting some cool ideas how to do it better and how to do it faster. And so on.
So let's talk about different limitations. I mean, every tool has limitations. I mean, you cannot say that Copilot can do everything what you like. Yeah. What are the main limitations you see at the moment in Copilot?
Firstly, it's mostly working in context of project, and if you need to provide if you need to, I don't know, to build a chain of logic steps from your project, and it's using, for example, I don't know, 50 classes chained together, it will be hard because Copilot will just mess up it and don't understand what he need to do. And also, for me, personally, the most important limitation is that answer from Copilot is not long. It's not a long read. So I don't have an ability, for example, to ask Copilot to explain how my project, the functionality of my project from A to B, from first step to the last step, because there is not enough text box for this answer.
Okay. So to wrap up this part of our podcast, what would be your kind of final maybe recommendations, maybe thoughts, would like to share with software engineers who are using or not using Copilot. So what would you say?
I don't think that it's should be a fear of using Copilot. So if we're talking about some developer who is afraid of using Copilot, don't be, just give it a try and see if it could provide a great increase of productivity and efficiency in your daily workflow. And also, it's another part of a coin, another side of a coin. Don't forget to use your own mind, your own brain, your own knowledges and expertise in your daily workflow.
So your human intelligence is important, right?
Human, partly AI intelligence. Yeah.
Okay, great. So now, before we wrap up, I would like to go with you with a kind of quick blitz round.
Surprise! I didn't ready for this.
It will be easy. No worries. So several questions. Yeah, quick answers. Don't need to think. Don't need to use your brain.
Only Copilot.
Only Copilot. Yeah, use Copilot. So, are you ready? Yes. Let's start.
Sure.
Yeah. Will Copilot replace software engineers?
Maybe in 2 centuries later, but not now.
Will software engineers become stupid and less creative?
I don't believe that's true. That it is true because software engineers are humans and they also have another hobbies which are providing training for their brains, for example, bicycling or something like that.
Okay, cool. One feature you are missing in Copilot at the moment?
Voice recognition. I want Copilot to understand what I am talking about, and after my recording, it will provide me some answer.
And the complex one, how do you see GenAI will change software development lifecycle in the next 5 years?
May I answer in one word only? Drastically.
Drastically.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Great answer, Andrew. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Vladimir for being there, for asking so interesting questions, and for this ability to share my knowledge with this Copilot.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you enjoyed our listeners. And follow us, and you will see a lot of new podcasts about generative AI and how it impacts our life.
This is Spam Jam Podcast by First Line Software.